today's question is, how do you fall in love with somebody? And the first thing I have to say about that is nobody can teach you how to do something that you have to learn how to do for yourself. Nobody can give you any... It's not like, put this here and then it works. Even though I can say things that might be able to point you into the right direction, ultimately, you are the one who has to learn for yourself how to do that. So you can't just sit here and listen to me and then all of a sudden instantly be able to do it. So that's out of the way. What am I going to say? Right? How to fall in love with somebody else? From my own experiences, I have realized that first it requires you to feel very connected with yourself before trying to connect with somebody else. You have to really understand who you are deeply. Like, beyond the thoughts, the memories, all the ideas you have of who you are or who you would like to be. You have to see yourself as who you actually are, which is connected with everything around you. I mean, you are everything. And once you can see that deeply, because the issue becomes, you have to be able to feel that. Not know it as an idea, but be connected with it. And what are some of the things that might hold you back from feeling that connection deeply, that you are what you see? Well, with fear, if you have fear, there can't be love. And if there's love, there's no fear. So you have to understand for yourself what is causing you to have fear in your life. Whether it's the fear of what other people think of you, whether it's fear of... It could be anything. I mean, the countless things that our minds do to worry about the future and be anxious about or stressed about the past or what had already happened, or feeling lonely, disconnected. There's so many things that are manifesting fear, but I guess, should I go into them? Or should I make another video about all the things? There's so many things. This is what I make videos about, is understanding what the mind does to create fear in order to move to a place with love. So you could watch some other videos, but I just started making videos, so I'm going to keep on helping people like you understand how to move from fear to love. But that understanding on your own, by yourself as an individual, in order to feel the connection with life instead of being disconnected, is a crucial part of meeting somebody in love. Because what has to happen is the other person also has to feel connected with the universe without fear or loneliness or, because there's times in my life where, I'm at a party and I feel lonely at the party. So even though you're with other people, it doesn't always mean you're feeling connected with them. So to meet somebody in love, is to both have dispelled the fear within you and have a deep feeling and connection that you are what you see. And then when you meet both with that view of the world, then you like melt into each other because you realize you're the same thing. And that's a loving connection. That's how you meet in love with somebody else. But it requires you to show up for yourself and understand yourself, which I think it's common for people to not have a full understanding of themselves. Because who you are as an individual isn't just a little tiny individual. You know, we hold on to our past memories, we hold on to our knowledge, and we identify with that as me. But when we can see past it, see that we're so much more than that, and that's just a little thing that we're capable of doing, and every single person is capable of storing these memories. But who we really are is much different. They're much bigger, I guess is what I would say. You know? That's just a little tiny piece that we love to hold on to. But if you can kind of let go of it or see past it, you know, I'm just trying to use words that you might understand or might connect with you, because communication on these topics is one of the most difficult things to talk about, because love isn't something you can see. It's something that's happening inside of our minds. It's not even able to be captured. It's a view of the world. And every single person is viewing the world. They're seeing it in a way. And that's what makes you, you. The way you see the world. See, because that can't be captured onto a computer. You know, a lot of times we wonder, well, if all of our, you know, memories and everything can be captured and then stored on the computer, and then, like, all the information we've ever learned as human beings can be, you know, written up and put online, like, then who am I, right? Then, and that is who you are. Who you are is how you see things. You are what you see. Exactly that, and it can't be captured. And that's why it's difficult to share a view of love, because love is so powerful. I mean, I've had a view of love, obviously, else I wouldn't be talking about this. And to me, the best way to describe it is you sense that you almost can feel the plants moving. It's like a sensation that you literally are the movement in front of you. And it's like a feeling. You can't even, it's not even a idea. It's crazy. And it's blown my mind. And by the way, I've never taken drugs in my whole life, so if you're wondering, oh, he must be on drugs or doing some kind of thing, I've never done drugs. So I just wanted to be somebody who can speak about this. And so I'm trying to learn how to communicate better how I have seen the world, and now I see all of its implications, and how so many people are trying to understand what love is, but they don't know. They think they're gonna find it in somebody else. Like, if I meet you, I'll somehow love is just gonna happen if I just meet the right person. You know? But a lot of it has to do with you, actually. It has to do with you as an individual. Because you have to dispel your fears. And by understanding how you create fear, I mean, for instance, like, something I think most people don't realize is that having strong desires for things, like, um, I don't have, I really would like this, and then you're constantly trying to seek it because you don't have something and you feel like it's lacking. Like, I don't have enough money, I don't have the right friends, I don't have something, who knows, something you really wanting. And that lack, that feeling of lacking, and then needing to constantly work to achieve something you want, it's actually based on fear, because you're like afraid of what you're not, and you're trying to make it real. But the solution to that is really accepting who you are, and it's allowing the things that aren't here the way you would like it to be that way, and just accepting it, but then understanding that you can love it. You can love yourself in all of the imperfections that you have. And when you do that, you start to learn how to grow in a healthy way, right? But not in a way that's only hurting you in the end. Because we can only change in ways that we can change. And that's good, though. It's good to, I don't even know why I say good, because really, everything bad is also good, because it teaches you the direction you need to go to get back to where you're trying to get to, which is love. Love is where we're all trying to get to, because it's the most powerful feeling as a human being. And I think a lot of times people connect the dots and think that in order to feel love, they have to be in certain circumstances, like in the previous circumstances that they had been in earlier in life, when they felt that feeling of connection or love or whatever they felt that was a good feeling. And then we think we need the thing that brought the feeling, but really we're just looking for the feeling in the end. Because sometimes we get the thing and then the feeling doesn't come back, and then we're like, well, that's not worth it. This is what happened to me. So, okay. How do you know if somebody else is also having this same feeling of connection, like deeply? And I think that's where it's important to communicate with whoever you're hoping to fall in love with, because you really have to understand their mind, how they're seeing the world, and then they'll use words that are either making sense to you, like, yes, in order for you to say those words, you must be seeing the world like this. And so you're just trying to read with the communication of somebody. And also, a lot of times you can sense by their own actions and feelings, and you can sense it. But the communication and really picking up on somebody requires a lot of sensitivity. And I think the issue that people have now is we're constantly bombarding ourselves with so much stimulation when it comes to videos, books, music, like eating a lot of food, and like we're just constantly bombarding our senses with so much stimulation that we become kind of desensitized. I mean, this is what happens to people. When you become desensitized, it's hard to sense somebody else or other things. Because sensitivity is required to understand where somebody else is at. And also sensitivity is required for yourself to feel connected with life, because life is very sensitive. Yeah. But we can dull our senses as individuals, which leads to disconnection and misunderstandings. And then we start to rely on our minds to have ideas of what to do and what not to do, when the real key to life is to act based on feelings. If you can really feel what's right, the action that comes out of that is much healthier than trying to think about what's right, because thinking is distorted. Thinking is like memory is our mind. It's all based on the past. It's all things that have already happened. We witness, we see life for what it is, and then the mind tries to store it. But it's the witnessing and the awareness and the feeling in this moment that really gets us to the action, to the best action to take in this moment. Because if you acted off ideas, you're acting off pasts of the past. But when you you could be really intelligent if you can combine the two together. I think that's when you get really smart people who are able to realize the value of feelings and emotions, and having an understanding of why being really aware of what's happening in this moment is so valuable, and then using the mind as a tool to not make past old mistakes. And then if you can do that, then you're using the mind like a sword. Because sometimes, if we get caught into thought and we're always thinking, it can sometimes turn into a double-edged sword where we're like not sure. Let me try to think of a story. Like, I used to desire for things to happen in my life, right? And then you end up acting on those wants, which are really just ideas of things that happened in the past that I would like to happen again, essentially. Or ideas of what something might be like, and then wanting to try to make it happen. And so then if we act on that, what happens is we act like in a way that's based on ideas, and then we're disconnected from the moment, and we miss moments. We miss moments in life, chasing ambition, chasing things that we want to happen later on, missing the moment completely. And then we look back at life and go, what the heck, I'm missing life. Like, I just missed my, caught in the trap of the mind. See, love is such a thing that only happens now. And no ideas and no thoughts are a part of it. That's why it's so difficult to talk about right there. And that is why nobody can teach you how to fall in love with somebody, because you have to understand for yourself how to do this. And I guess the biggest advice I have is learn about how you're creating fear. That's what you need to learn about. Become sensitive. I don't know why I'm saying this like authoritative. I really don't like people who have authority. Don't see me as somebody to listen to. Please. I am somebody who's standing next to you, looking at life with you, not in front of you, trying to tell you how something works. See? I just want to be looking at life with you. And so what I'm seeing is when I learn how to dispel my fears, understand how I'm creating them, not allowing them to manifest, then love starts to sprout within me, and that's what you might want to try also. And when I notice when I'll become more sensitive, because when I overeat food, when I watch too much social media or videos, or read too much about other people's ideas, or listen to too much music with other people's energy, it starts to make me desensitized to myself in this moment. It desensitizes me. So I would recommend you trying those things, to stop doing so much of those things, to become more sensitive, to become more aware and more present in this moment of yourself and your surroundings and who you really are, which is everything you see. And when you start doing those things, I've noticed that love starts to sprout within you, within me, you know? And then when you meet someone who's also done that same thing, you can hopefully have enough sensitivity and empathy that you can recognize that they are where you're at. But I think communication really helps in just noticing them fully, and not brushing anything off to the side and thinking, oh, well, because sometimes we like to see what we want to see. Like, I'm in love with right, I'm showing up in love, and then we have the hope and the desire, and that we wish they were too. So sometimes we just see it. We just decide to see that they're in love, even though they might not even be where you're at. So really, it requires a lot of really, because that's an idea. You see, you have to be all in the moment. You can't have an idea of, oh, they're in love because they did this or this and this, and now I think they're in love. You see, it's not an idea. It's really just a feeling. You have to really be aware in this moment and have sensitivity and empathy and see that person really for how they're seeing the world as best you can. And from my experience, it is possible. It is possible. But I think it's difficult if you have this, if you're trapped in thoughts. It becomes very difficult to see another in a loving state of being. So, I hope you appreciate this video. I will probably have so much more to say about this topic, because I always have so much more to say about things. Because I'm always learning. Learning is how you get to a place of love, because love and learning are also a part of the same thing, because learning requires awareness, and so does love. It's like love and learning are almost one and the same, actually, which is crazy. And I think a lot of people who live in fear have a hard time learning, actually. But that's a topic for another video. So if you leave a comment, I love reading the comments, and I appreciate them so much.